Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh Ba'Shem Nawashai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathens that look like the heathens. And to the Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. In just a moment, I want to try and block some of this glare. Now see it. The sun is on the move. Let's see if I can. There we go. And well, that helped a little bit. But first I want to play an Instagram video that's being shared among the brothers. Let me see if I can pull it up and play it. Because there's a war between men and women. And I'm going to read from the book of Judith. And you have to understand that Esau did this. He turned everything upside down. And he put women in the positions and in places where they're not to be. And it's creating a lot of confusion. All right. Because the woman doesn't know her role anymore. Neither does the man. And or the woman doesn't respect the role of the man. And the woman's role is way out of order. And it's creating a problem in society, especially in the dating scene. But and the Lord is going to reset things the way that they're supposed to be. So a lot of these women are they have a saying from our generation: F around and find out. Well, that's what's about to happen. But let me see if I can pull up this video with his father speaking about the dating situation in America.
From a standpoint of marriage and family, this is the worst place in the world to choose a wife. Not only the worst place in the world, it's the worst place in the annals of history to choose a wife. Attention to a woman is like crack cocaine. And so she's seeing these things on the internet, and she's got guys in her DM, and they're giving her a false idea of their value. Male attention is monopoly money. Because when you hit 35, and that attention starts to go away, and you start looking for men, the kind of men you want, now you're competing with the younger, hotter, more fertile girl. There's a reason that the Creator starts, you start to lose your eggs, in the mid-30s? I have daughters. My youngest daughter just graduated from college. She's 22. My advice to them, find the best man you can at your youngest age and settle down with him.
And if that man is 40 years old, you'd be okay with it?
40?
Yeah.
As long as he can provide for her and she loves him, he's going to treat her right, absolutely. As long as they're an adult. It's okay for an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old to have and put it all out on the internet. She's old enough to do that. She's old enough to be in a relationship. And what does God say, by the way? What does nature say? Nature says that women typically get their period like in their early teens, maybe 12, maybe 13 years old. In my opinion, that's nature and God saying he's preparing you to get ready for childbirth.
That's fact, not opinion.
It's always from tradition. You go to other countries, the same thing. You find younger women with older men because the older man is more seasoned.
So let's go straight to the scriptures. And he said at 35 they start to losing their eggs and you start to get less attention. And you women that do get attention from younger guys is only because younger guys just want to have sex with older women so that they don't have to worry about having children and paying child support and all that sort of thing. You cougars, you're just being used. No one wants you. They just want to have sex with you. All right. So yeah, and I see some women brag about that. How there was some video of this attractive older woman talking about, and what did the video say? I can get the father and the son, or something to that effect. But this is Judith 5 and 17, and it reads, as long as they didn't, and this is from the new Oxford Anointed Bible with Apocrypha. All right, this is a Oxford Study Bible with the Apocrypha in it, so it reads a little bit different from the King James, but I kind of like the way it reads. But anyway, it says, as long as they did not sin against their God, they prospered, For the God who hates iniquity is with them. But when they departed from the way which he had appointed for them, they were utterly defeated in many battles and were led away captives to foreign countries. The temple of their God was razed to the ground. That means it was burned to the ground. And their cities were captured by enemies. But now they have returned to their God, or their power. That's what the word God actually means. Allah. Allah means power. All right. And have come back from the places to which they were scattered. They have occupied Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and have settled in the hill country, because it was uninhabited. Now, therefore, my master and Lord, that's why you gotta be careful, because a man can be a Lord as well. All right. Remember, Sarah called Abraham Lord. All right. If there is any unwitting error in this people, and they sin against their power, and we find out their offense. See, that was the game plan. This is how they knew how to defeat us, to get us to sin against our power. And they also went after our women and elevated, and that was one of the last things they did during slavery. They elevated the woman over the man among the Israelites, especially among the tribes of the southern kingdom, especially among Judah here in America. And now, since everyone follows Babylon, that poison has spread to the world. That's why you even have a woman, on a platform like this for the whole world to look and lust after them. All right. It says, then we will go up and defeat them. But if there is no transgression in their nation, then let my Lord pass them by, for their Lord, or their will defend them. And that was an uppercase L for Lord, meaning Yahushua, will defend them, and that God will protect them. All right, their power, and we shall be put to shame before the whole world. And we're back at that place again. All right, because we fell as a nation, fell as a people. All right, and our women have been, set in places where they're above us. That was prophecy, that the woman shall compass the man. And now we're at the point where, how ye careless, you careless women, so to speak. As a matter of fact, let me get that, and then I'm going to play a couple minutes of this video when Miss Candace Owens, when she interviews Riley Reid, all right, this famous porn star. I've never seen a Riley Reid video, or movie in its entirety. I've seen her in bits and pieces. And she was extremely popular, but now she's extremely popular to hate on. And I think it's also because too, she was doing, she was this little bitty tiny thing, taking all these gigantic gorilla BBCs, and so she gets extra hate from the Edomites for that reason. All right, but this is Isaiah 32 and 9, and it reads, Rise up, you women who are at ease, hear my voice. You complacent daughters, give ear to my speech. In little more than a year, you will shudder, you complacent women. For the ventures will fail, the fruit and the harvest will not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. So that's happening now again. This is a future prophecy. All right, the scriptures are multifold, because this thing happened, but it's happening now. All right, we're getting ready to have major food problems. Okay, so a lot of women are going to be left out there bad and hungry. All right, it says, tremble, you women who are at ease, shudder, you complacent ones, strip and make yourselves bare. Then that's going to happen against their will in a lot of cases. And gird your sackcloth upon your loins. Beat your breasts for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine, for the soil of my people growing up in thorns and briars. For all your joyous houses in a joyous city, for the place will be forsaken and the populous cities deserted. So, it's about to be food deserts out here. We're gonna have Syria, all that food that rotted, in Florida, and all the food that was destroyed across the nation over the last couple years, and all the crops that were destroyed in California, we're getting ready to have some major problems. All right. Then you got all these people, all these military age men that have come in by the tens of thousands into America, and now the threat of blackouts, and the cyber attacks, and they handed out these what do you call them? Those satellite phones to these political individuals for the just in case, even though everything is set up to happen. You got so many tons of explosives that went missing. It's just all kind of stuff that's going on. All right. And it's going to lead to some very dark times and lawlessness. And when that lawlessness comes, it's going to be really bad for everyone. It's going to be extra bad for these women who have not that covering of a man of the Lord. All right. And a lot of women are getting ready to fall victim to their own sin. You know, and I always said, you know, you women who were on the carousel, you know, you remember the word date is a soft word to replace the word F. All right. You dating this guy, you were dating this guy. No, you were effing this guy. Now you're effing this guy. And now you're going to F that guy. You know, we refer to that as the carousel. Well, the time is going to come where a lot of you are going to be back on that carousel. Some of you never got off of it. But this time, you don't get to pick and choose. The carousel is going to ride you. All right. So without any further ado, Miss Candace Owens. Copyright disclaimers.
Okay, so if you're a person that follows and or envies people like Amber Rose, Iggy Azalea, Emma Ratajkowski, currently a lot of what they're pitching is that there is empowerment in selling your body. Like for the first time, you get to decide how your body is being displayed on the internet. You get to decide what you're willing to give for what price. This is their argument and the conversations that they host regarding OnlyFans, that actually you should be proud of this. And what I always implore people, a lot of the young women that are perhaps being influenced by these people, to take a look at is their personal lives. Examine the personal lives of Amber Rose, Iggy Azalea, Emma Ratajkowski, and do not wrongly conflate happiness with money, because that's what they're doing. It's, yes, you can make money off of your body and you can dictate how you make that money off of your own body if you go onto OnlyFans. But of course, there is going to be a knock-on effect in your personal life. And that is where you really lose, especially because as you age, there's going to be less interest in your body. So at that point, what you have actually built in your personal life, right? The things that are actually going to matter are whether or not you are in a happy relationship. And it's difficult to get into a happy relationship when the men that are pursuing you do not respect you. This is why Emily Ratajkowski, despite being so hot, got cheated on. This is why Amber Rose.
Because they're right, because they don't matter. They're not. Men are not pursuing them to be with them. Men are pursuing them to lie with them. They just want that turned, you know. And it's something that I tell a lot of young brothers. Had to remind myself. All right, but you know, a lot of guys, you invest your feelings, your emotions into these women, and the moment you do that, so one of the reasons why a lot of men are so cold is because of the actions of women. There's liberty that they've been given. And what they're doing is, like the man said, attention is like crack cocaine. These women want attention, and they can get it. Women control sex, and a woman can get sex and attention a lot faster than any man can. All right, they just can. You know, a woman can go to a club every weekend or every week or every night and go home with the guy. You know, every man's not going to do that, and I mean even the best of us. You know. Big, buff, strong, muscle bound, you're not always going to get the woman. All right? You may get them more so than other guys, but you're not going to always get the woman that you want. Where the woman can literally get any man that she wants. At least she may not be able to get him to, like, you know, to be with her in that way. But if she wants to bed him for the night, she's going to get him. All right? And so what you have to understand is that men know that, so they don't want you for anything more than that in most cases.
Is not with her baby daddy. Well, there is a porn star, a very successful porn star named, she goes by,
Is
her
she
surname
really?
is Riley Reid. I think her actual real name is Riley something else, Riley Matthews. But she is making the rounds right now for an old video, just happens to have resurfaced, in which she admits that her life has been ruined by porn. Shocker. Take a listen.
Lost my whole family, and it sucks. So a lot of times when people ask me if they should do porn, I tell them no. I tell them that it makes life really hard. It makes dating really hard. It makes your family life really hard. It makes intimacy hard. You're putting yourself out there and the world is now judging you. You have to be okay with being shamed every day of your life. I don't even want to have children.
That's ridiculous.
Because I do porn, because I'm worried of the way that people will treat my child. With me personally, my mom was supportive in the beginning.
Wow, her mom was supportive. She didn't say her dad. Okay. This is Sirach 25 and 26, and this is for a wife or a daughter. It says, if she does not go as you direct, separate her from yourself. All right. You're supposed to get rid of a woman that does not want to go your way. All right. I have two beautiful daughters, and they were raised with the understanding that once you give your body to a man, you're going to stay with that man, and you should stay with that man. All right. And that if you don't do that, you're going to have to deal with the consequences thereof. Why her father didn't tell her that? Well, her father probably did, because she said her mother was supportive of it. Her mother, with that, you better shop around mentality. And that was pushed really heavy. And it was really pushed really heavy by black women in songs, via the 60s, 70s, and 80s. All right. It was pushed very heavy, and even now more so than ever. That whole YOLO, do as thou wilt spirit. And that's not right. So this is Sirach 26 and 1. And it said, happy is a husband of a good wife. And what's a good wife? One like in Titus. Let's go to Titus real quick. Titus 2 and 2 through 4. And it reads, or 3 through 4, it says, bid the older woman likewise to be reverent in behavior, not to be a slanderer or slaves to drink, that they are to teach what is good and train the young women to love their husbands and children. All right. Verse 5, to be sensible, chaste, domestic, kind, and submissive to their husbands, to the word of God may be, that the word of God may be not discredited. All right. That's the way that a woman is supposed to do. But we live in a society that teaches the complete opposite. The complete opposite. Matter of fact, let's go back to Sirach, the 26th chapter. And I'm going to start verse 6. And it reads, there is a grief of the heart and sorrow when a wife is envious of a rival. All right, because a man, Isaiah 4:1. All right, the only man that was commanded to have one wife was the bishop, because of his position in the church. He had too many people in the church to worry about than to be worried about all his wives. All right, it says, there is a grief of sorrow when a wife is envious of a rival, and a tongue lashing make it known to all. The evil wife is an ox yoke with chafes. Taking hold of her is like grasping a scorpion. There was a great anger when a wife is drunken. She will not hide her shame. A wife's harlotry shows in her lustful eyes. Miss Parker. All right. She is known by her eyelids. And they all walking around with them, them sea umbrellas on their eyes today. All right. And it says, keep strict watch over a headstrong daughter, lest when she finds liberty, she will use it to her hurt. Be on guard against her impudent eye, and do not wonder if she sins against you. As a thirsty wayfarer opens her mouth and drinks from any water near her, like Riley did, all right, and will sit in front of every post and open her quiver to every arrow, like Riley did. And then here's the thing that I must say about Miss Riley. All right, as wicked as what she did, at least she got paid for it. Because sadly, there are millions of women who basically live their lives like they were Riley and they weren't even getting paid for it. You know, a lot of these college, because that's typically what happens in college. When you send your daughter off to college and to the military, that's typically what happens to them. They become Riley Reeves. They open their mouths to every water, and they sit bound by the post and open their quivers to every arrow. This society breeds that. That's why the Lord must change it, and only the Lord can do that. And that is the only way that this, because women are going to go back. They aren't, and even the ones who say that they want to change. You're already been one last scripture. This has already happened. And a man that wakes up to the truth, he's not going to want to deal with that. That's why I always push to the young men to help them get through the pain of disappointment with a woman, you know, marveling out if she you know, transgress against thee, that you have to come to the understanding she was never yours. It was just your turn. And I remind myself of that, you know. All right. But this is Jeremiah 3:1. And it reads, if a man divorces his wife, remember it said, if she go not thy way, you separate from her. If a man divorces his wife and she goes from him and becomes another man's wife, all right, that which is adultery, all right, because that's what she gonna divorce that man. He gonna get rid, and then she gonna go to the next one, back on that carousel. All right, but it says, and this society, like Lizzo and these rappers, they promote that. These songstresses, they promote that. All right, it says, and if a man divorces his wife and she goes from him and becomes another man's wife, will he return to her? Would not that land be greatly polluted? And so a man is a planter. That's what husband means. Husband means planter, and then the wife is his field. And now that field is polluted. Why? Because it's got different seeds in it. All right. This thing is spiritual, it's scientific, and it's a woman is meant to be with one man her whole life. Her field is not to be polluted with different seeds.